Two guys that can get you into a home. Keith Hansey's here, and so is Opie's here, too, from Northwoods Community Realty. And so, Keith and Opie, thanks for being here with us this morning.
Thanks for having us.
So, since the boss is skipping out on you guys, what you going to do over at the office today?
Anything we want to.
I don't think we're going back.
No?
Maybe she's listening. No, we're going back.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we're going to go back. We'll be there till 5 today.
Yeah, absolutely. Working hard, and you probably won't even take a lunch break today.
No,
this is considered your break time for the day.
This is it. This is our break.
Right. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for being here this morning. A lot of on my way into work this morning, I'm listening to the news, and the interest rates are on the news stories a lot here these days. The Fed's going to meet, I think, 2 weeks from now.
Yes.
I heard some folks thinking a quarter point. I heard other folks thinking maybe a half point with the job situation the way it is right now. They're thinking more like a quarter point. So I want to ask you guys, it doesn't seem like a lot. A quarter point drop in the interest rates doesn't seem like a lot. But on a 30-year mortgage, that can really add up to a lot of money. So, Opie, you've been doing this for a long time. What is that quarter of a point of an interest rate? What do you think that's going to do for the real estate business?
Well, it shows finally a signal. You know, the Fed's been talking about dropping this for literally over a year.
Yeah.
Banks have been, wondering how and when, and consumers have. When is because it just kept climbing or never coming down, and it was forecasted to. And they were saying before in 23 that we're going to have 3 or 4 drops in 2024, and we didn't. Now they're projecting in 2025 having 3 or 4 quarter, basis points drop. So it at least is a signal, Jeff, that I think that the top has been reached and we're starting to decline, and that creates interest. So it's good.
How many clients have you had, Keith, that are saying, you know what, we know there's stuff out there available, but we're waiting for a better rate? Does that happen like almost every day?
Not every day, but it does. The biggest thing I guess I see is first-time home buyers.
Okay.
Because when that interest rate is a little bit higher, that affects how high they can buy. Because if you look at a 30-year loan and let's say they're pre-approved for a certain amount, that they have that payment. And if that interest rate is higher, to maintain that payment, that's a little less buying power. So if interest rates drop, then they can buy a little bit more expensive house.
Okay. I could give an example. I know a young couple, Jeff, that bought a home 350-ish, and they were able to get in under 3%, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That same loan today would be $1,100 more a month.
Wow.
So that
is
they
real
said
money.
we can't afford to move with these interest rates. We're lucky we have what we have, but to go, upgrade and do it, we can't do it because it's that significant of a change.
What about here's some, I don't completely. I have a little bit of a handle on it, but when it comes to buying down points, is that a negotiating tool that would come in handy right about now? And how do you explain that to somebody that doesn't really have their head, their whole head wrapped around it? Either one of you guys.
Yeah, buying down interest points.
Points, right?
At the bank
level.
It's probably best to speak to the lender. I mean,
kind of a hedge.
Yeah.
And it's best to deal with your local lender. What are the, you can pay down 1% with more money here today, and it's a gamble. Who's got the crystal ball?
Right, yeah.
Personally, what I would recommend is if you find the property you really, really like today, make it work, get your loan, and if interest rates go down 2% more, then it's time to refi. Rather than taking a gamble on this hedge of buying 1%, just be prepared to watch the market and regroup and refi when it's time.
It's not difficult to refinance either, so it's not like, well, I got to go through this whole. It's really not. It's a couple phone calls and a couple signatures, really.
Right.
Yeah.
And many times it may not even need a full appraisal. They could do a market analysis because they know the property, they've got more equity in it, and it's a much more streamlined process.
So you can watch these markets. You can't help but watch them, and you just got to keep your fingers crossed that it gets done, because you have your budget and that's what it is.
Right.
You
We are what we are.
Right.
You can't pull money out of it. But historically speaking, I think our new mortgage is at a little over 6 or something like that, 6.4 or something like that. I think
6.5-ish. Yep.
Well, I don't know, Opie. You and I are about the same age. When you bought your first house, would you remember the rate?
8.25.
Really? I think I was up near 15.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer to buy, but
okay.
Yeah. My first house was 7.9.
Yeah. So historically speaking, we're still not that bad.
We are. But then you see the young couple I talked about that got in under 3. Like they said, we could never replace our house right now because we just have to ride.
So first-time buyers, this affects more than people that have been doing this a while. So people that have been doing it a while, they're sitting on a property, they hear on the radio all the time and everywhere else, we need listings, we need listings. They're saying, well, we're getting close to retirement. We're going to sit here until we know for sure. And again, watching the market and things like that. But it's a different ballgame for people that have been doing this a while. They've got some equity in their homes. What do you say to those people that might be waiting for just a little bit better rate? Because they're probably at like 2.731 right now the way it is.
They are. It's the crystal ball, and if they get the aha moment and the right property that could be life changing, that's going to be their legacy property. I always tell people, do everything you can to make this work. When I was young, I thought I was jumping off a plank when we built our home and started, and then 3 years, 5 years later, the payments got easier, life got better. So I always encourage young people, don't stretch yourself too far, but if this is the very right fit, do what you can to make it work. Because just keep working hard and it all works itself out.
Yeah, being mortgage poor is not a good way to go through things either.
No.
It isn't. It's a balance.
Right, yeah. So, but again, I can tell you, and I know I come back to my own experiences a lot because I don't have a lot to fall back on otherwise. When we found our piece, we found two places that we thought we would really be happy with. So we put an offer in on the first one. We missed it. Didn't go high enough, weren't serious enough, and now I go by that property all the time, and I see it all the time. Like, wow, those horses look beautiful in the backyard there.
Yeah.
But now I go to my new house. There's more land there, and we thought, okay, we're not going to lose out on this one. We were aggressive. We came right our best foot forward. We managed to be the first people to see the house when it was available. So you got, if you see what you want, you got to be aggressive, and then you just deal with the rest of the stuff afterwards. You got your property,
and have your pre-approval and all your ducks in a row when you go start looking with an agent.
So there's so many things out of our control when it comes to these interest rates. You pay your bills on time. You try to get your best credit rating, and the interest rates are what they are. So your budget is what it is, but hopefully there's some hope in the future here for folks to, especially the younger folks, to get into their first homes.
Yeah, and as a younger couple, if you know you're really serious on the market looking for them, don't go buy the new $50,000 truck, because that's going to give your credit a hiccup, and it's not the right time for that.
One other thing, and again, not to disparage it, people make their own decisions, but I heard somebody complaining about prices, and they're smokers.
Yeah.
A pack of cigarettes cost what I used to pay for a carton when I quit years ago.
Yeah, it can turn into $5,000 a year real quickly.
Real fast.
Yeah.
And so, take a look at your life. Take some, buying a home is a huge investment. Take a look at your life and see, okay, do I really, really need this pack-a-day habit? And then all of a sudden, all that money, like you say, $6,000 right there, just like that, instant $6,000.
Yep.
So hopefully the rates will come down, and hopefully people that want a home will be able to get into one. I can't believe that the summertime is in the rearview mirror now. We're looking at fall ride in a week.
Yeah.
Where did the summer go?
I don't really know. It seemed like it was just June, and then now it's September.
And I remember having the conversation with you guys when you're here that time. Okay, it's spring, more listings are going to be coming in, and looking back now on the summer that was. And so what do you say? Opie Garrison, again, you've been doing this a while. I'll start with you. What's your take on this last summer as we head into fall?
Yeah, the sales were slightly up, Jeff, like 3-4% from last year, but the median price was up probably 8 or 9%.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of demand in our industry that we're in a housing shortage, quite honestly, yet. So new listings still get a lot of activity. Is there maybe less buyers than 2 years ago? Absolutely is. Now can contingencies come into play where you can write a home inspection and you can have financing, and the market's leveling off where our days on market's going up. It's kind of normalizing, which is a good thing.
Keith, do you see it as a good thing for a buyer or a seller in that situation?
Actually, it's a mix of both.
Okay.
Because you don't have the demand, and we're not getting
a frenzy.
Let's say off-water houses, we're not seeing the 4 or 5 offers on that. You might see 1 or 2.
Okay.
So it's more of an opportunity for buyers. And for sellers, there's still the demand. So you're still getting action on your house, but it's not a frenzy. So it's going to still sell, but it's not going to be as crazy. So buyers have an opportunity to buy, and sellers can sell.
The pendulum's coming back to normalcy.
Okay.
Yep.
And so that is normal is easier to handle. That's for sure. And we can know what to expect. But as we headed into the summertime, we're thinking, okay, listings are going to pick up here through the summer. It did a little bit, right?
It did a little bit, yes.
Now that we're heading into a new season in fall, how do you see things happening now? I guess a lot's going to be determined on what happens at the Fed in 2 weeks.
Yes, but fall is also a very busy time for us. So we see uptick in listings in the fall. A lot of the second homes that people have had for the last 4 or 5 years, they figured out we're only up there 2 or 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to list it. We're going to sell it, so we don't have to maintain it all winter. So we will see an uptick in listings starting very soon.
So if folks are sitting on a property like that, they haven't used it very much, they probably shouldn't wait. The sooner they get that stuff on the market, the better it's going to be for the seller, too.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything to add on that, Opie?
No, I 100% agree with what Keith's saying. They figure out that the kids are in more activities and sports and what they thought was going to be the ideal family place. It's just everybody's so busy that it's just not getting used as they thought.
And nobody likes, I think a good way to get listings on the market this time of year is to go to some people who are a little bit, are seasoned homeowners. They're getting close to that retirement age, and show them a big picture, a whiteout picture of 6 feet of snow in the driveway. We need to get moving down south. Do we really want to go through that again?
Yeah.
Chances of having a winter like we had last winter are probably slim to none. I think we're going to pay for last winter this winter.
I've never seen one like that. So.
As a snowmobiler, I hope so, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. Snowmobilers, skiers, all those folks are hoping that we pay for it this year. But again, if you don't want to stick around, if you're done with winter, now's the time to call Northwoods Community Realty. Hunting season's here. I know they're hunting bears already. Early goose season's going on right now. So as far as we still have people calling in looking for hunting land.
Yes.
On Trading Mart even. So what's it looking like for especially hunting land?
Yes. So fall, again, we have the listings, but then we also start to get the listings for the vacant land, the hunting land. And then for hunters, now is a good time to start looking, because we do get a bunch in October that are like, I want hunting land, or I need hunting land. And if you're starting to look in October or November, it's going to be a little late.
Slim pickings.
We recommend hunters start looking now for that hunting land and all that vacant land out there.
So what's out there? Is there a lot available right now?
Right now, not a lot. I was looking at our MLS and our listings, and we haven't seen the vacant land listings pop up yet, but we're getting close to where we'll start to see that.
Why are people sitting on land right now? What's your take on that?
I think people get so busy over the summer, and then once we start getting cool weather and it starts turning fall and people think hunting, and then they're like, all right, we're going to start looking for land, or I'm not going to be able to hunt this year, or I haven't hunted last year, I'm going to list it. And obviously listing it prior to hunting season is like the prime time for that.
How different is the buying process for somebody buying a piece of land as opposed to buying a piece of land that's got a house on it? Is there any difference with the process?
Yeah, it's a different offer.
Okay.
It's a totally different offer. Typically, it's a little bit smoother process because you're not...
You don't have all the contingencies usually?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the well, the septic...
may have a perk test contingency.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or the biggest thing we find is access.
Okay.
You know, if you've got a 40 or an 80 back, making sure that has legal access, whether it's a road or an easement, making sure all that's recorded so that it is. I've had many properties that people have, oh yeah, it's a 40 back here. We've got an easement. We've been going back there 40 years, and they don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they just assume it's there, and then they find out it's really not when it comes down to the legal paperwork and stuff.
Right.
And easements can sunset, too. Everybody always thought that you had an easement that's, carries with the land forever, and the more that's being investigated, easements have a sunset date. It might be 75 years, could be 100 years, but you really need to check into it before you jump all in on a vacant property. And that's what real estate professionals will help you with, as opposed to going out and just meet your buddy and say, yeah, I'll buy this because he told me I've got access, and get a bad surprise down the road.
Nobody likes that when it comes to real estate in any way, shape, or form, that's for sure. And so you don't want to wait too late, like you said. So just to make sure you're, if you want a smooth process, the sooner you get started on this, the better, because the demand's going to start to go up week by week here.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if they reach out to, Keith and the people in the office, they know that, hey, Joe's looking for a minimum of 80 acres up to 120, this radius, and then when something pops up or he hears of something, first call that he makes. So reaching out and getting communication going early It may take a year, but that's okay because you got an advocate working for you.
Yep. Fall Ride's coming up. We talked about that earlier. We're a week away from Fall Ride weekend here, and I'm just curious, in the real estate business, when we get that big influx of people coming to visit from other places, how busy is the real estate office when that happens? I know they're here doing a lot of stuff, having a good time, but they've got to see what's around them. They've got to be interested in possibly making this their home. How busy is it for you guys?
It does get busy, believe it or not, because you do have the people up here, and I will say it's probably weather dependent.
Okay.
If it's beautiful out and they're riding, we're not as busy.
Right.
If it's cold, then they're like stopping in saying, hey, we love it up here. We'd love to find a second home or vacant land or something. So we do get the drop-ins, and then we get the phone calls, or they're up here. Let's say they're renting a house and they see a for sale sign or something. They get interest. So we do get busy. You know, you have roughly 45,000 people in town. There's a small fraction of them that are looking for a place up here actively.
And we've had businesses sell where they're sitting there having a cocktail and a good time, and they say, hey, this is actually for sale. God, my wife and I have always dreamed of moving up here. There's sometimes that spiral starts at that point and ends up being something.
So folks who are living here and working here, again, time is of the essence here. You want to get that property out to as many faces and as many eyes as possible. Better call one of these guys here this week.
Yes.
Real fast.
For sure.
Anything else about Fall Ride?
Just looking forward to it. I enjoy it. We're not bikers, but you know, it's a good. I love bands. I love live bands. So you're not going to get any more music in Tomahawk than this weekend. But it's fun. We get together and we watch the bike parade and watch everybody around. And
a lot of locals. We sit here and we just watch.
Just watch and enjoy.
Nothing wrong with that. Keith Ansey and Opie Garrison here with us from Northwoods Community Realty. I know there's big doings going on over in Lake Tomahawk, too, and if Jackie was here, she'd be able to tell us more about that because there's an office, Northwoods Community Realty in Lake Tomahawk, too. They got big doings going on real soon now, too, right?
Yeah, September 21st is Autumn Fest in Lake Tomahawk. I believe they all the businesses on Main Street, they're opened up. I don't know if they do pumpkin giveaways up there or not, but
I remember her talking about that last year, yeah.
But I think we did that later in October. But the Autumn Fest is kind of a little festival down at Lake Tomahawk. You know, it's all open. It's
a walking
it's a busy time.
Experience and a nice afternoon.
Yeah.
Interesting topic as always. I love talking real estate and watching those interest rates. Hopefully those will come down and get a lot of folks into their dream homes here real soon. So best way to get a hold of you guys, what is that?
715-453-2673 is our office phone, or northwoodscommunityrealty.com.
And is there a lot of good stuff to see on the website?
Yes. Our website is up to date, and it's actually linked with the MLS. So if you do a search on our website, all that information is going to be up to the minute.
Right there.
Way more accurate than Zillow.
Yeah. Up to the minute. Way more.
Up to the minute.
Got it. Guys, thanks a lot. Have a good weekend. And gosh, I'm glad summer's coming back next week.
Thank you, Jeff.
That'll be nice. Enjoy it.
See you guys and have a good day down the road here.